Welcome, and thanks for joining us today. You're listening to the Women's Broadcast Television Expert Spotlight Show, and I'm your host, Shea Vaughn. WBTN is the all-women's internet television station with content that is created by women and for women. And we are so happy to be here today and grateful for our expert spotlight gal, and she's going to be talking to us about some amazing things, some transitions that she's taken in her life, and it's brought more joy into her life. So let me just tell you a little bit about her. Diane Spann, she was a CPA for years and years. I think that she mentioned like 40 years. And then all of a sudden, she just really felt that she needed some kind of a change in her life. And she was really looking more for growing spiritually. So we're going to find out how that happened. So thank you so much, Diana, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, so happy. So I've known a lot of CPAs in my time. And some of them seem to love their job. You know, they just love numbers. I think that's why you get in it in the first place and helping other people because you do financially. That's a big thing. And then all of a sudden, after 40 years, you decide that you need to bring some spiritual aspect to your life that you felt you were missing. Yes?
That's true. I think, as you grow older and you grow into more of, I think, who you are, a lot of times we've made career choices based on what's happening at the moment or trying to move into a career where you make money or are successful. And just the longer I did it, the more I realized it really was never a fit for who I was. I think the way I was made to be. If you do personality testing, I'm on the opposite spectrum of the typical CPA.
Okay.
I was good at it.
Something before we go forward with that then. So in your younger years when you were choosing what career you were going to do and how you were going to pay your bills and, what might, empower you at that point in time, what was your childhood up to that point and to where you currently are right now? Walk me through the transition, because you're telling me it wasn't a fit, but how come it was back then? I mean, what helped you to make that decision?
Well, in some ways it feels like it wasn't decisions. It was just you kind of get in a path. But I grew up in a small town here in Texas, and I was involved in my high school in the business program, which meant that you went to school part of the day and then you had a job. Okay. And that's when I first started working in the oil and gas industry here in Texas in a small family company. And they loved me and they kept me and kept wanting me to do more in the company. And eventually that's how I moved out of a small town to Dallas and ended up finishing my college career as a result of their encouragement, and then got my CPA. And so they're kind of like my second family. So it was kind of like a path that it was like a natural flow. It didn't seem like there was much decision to it. I was pretty good at what I did, and it seemed like this might be a natural fit. And so it almost feels sometimes like not making a decision, just following the flow of what was happening.
And certainly an instant job for you with people that had treated you wonderful and, like you said, second family, and so it felt like a great fit.
Yes, I think it was a great fit for me. A large corporate structure was never going to be a fit for me because I wanted to see the whole process. And so I think that's what made the job interesting and work for me, even though it might not be the best fit for my personality, right. Is that I was in a small structure where I got to see a lot of pieces of the puzzle and be a part of growing a family company.
So were you doing other accounts other than this company's account, or were you an in-house CPA for them?
I was an in-house CPA for them.
So you really never went out on your own and had to gather other clients or anything. That was kind of like...
No, always in private with this one, other couple of companies, small family companies that I worked for. over the years.
With that family doing the accounting on it. So, and then so all of a sudden, you decide that this isn't a fit personality-wise. This isn't who you are. You don't want to sit and keep crunching numbers, and you want to do something else. So what else happened to you in between all of this, and what's going on with you now?
Well, I think that the journey sort of started a long time, probably about in 1997 with the death of my father, and just kind of looking at some of the grief around that and issues. And so I actually ended up going back and getting a master's degree in counseling. So I'm also a certified counselor in Texas, thinking that might be a fit. And it really wasn't turning out what I thought. I was still doing the accounting and doing that on the side. And
what kind of counseling, can I just interrupt you for a minute, and I apologize for that, but what kind of counseling were you certified to actually counsel on? Because there's all kinds of counseling out there. Right.
Well, I would work with, in Texas, it's called a licensed professional counselor.
Oh, okay.
And I would work with individuals on issues, depression, self-esteem, and also did some marriage counseling as a result of that with couples and things like that. And it just wasn't turning into a career that I felt like that's where I was going to head. But, it's great that I can see all those skills are being used now. And so in 2010, I started traveling as a volunteer with my church and an organization that they partnered with to South Sudan in Africa. And so I just kept going back every year and got more and more involved. And then last year, the end of 2014, I decided I think this is the next place to go, and began that process. And then last March left the corporate world for the nonprofit world, and I'm working now with Empower One.
So Empower One is a nonprofit organization that focuses on what?
Well, we are a Christian organization. Our main focus is to identify leaders in South Sudan and train them to plant churches with the end goal to transform communities. And so we might do that through training to start schools, but everything kind of points back to the church. But we try to be very holistic, and when we come into a community to plant a church, we also want to have our eyes open to other ways that we can help that community be transformed.
So you feel like your personality is more on the giving side as far as spiritual and Christian practices to help other people in other countries that really can't, that need a lot. And your nonprofit organization basically raises money for that purpose.
Yes, we definitely, I feel like my gift and my passion is to share the transformation I feel like has happened in my life through my faith, and that can transform people, communities. And South Sudan is, it's one of the most failed countries in the world.
Right.
And so I think that speaks to my personality of feeling that I can help bring hope there. And so our organization, we raise funds to help start schools, to train leaders, and then we travel back and forth. We're a pretty small team, but we travel back and forth doing training, encouraging leaders, just looking for ways that we can come alongside our national partners there to help them try and transform their nation.
Absolutely. And we hope that the people there get to the point where they need a CPA. And
yes. That would be great success.
That would be great success.
That's a great dream to have.
To share that. And well, what's next for you? I mean, just you've got this small group. Do you actually get involved in the raising of the funds?
Yes, we, as a team, each person raises their own individual funds for their individual part of what they do in the overall picture. And I'm the woman on the team. And so my heart is really connected to the heart of the women in South Sudan who have this life that we in America cannot imagine. it's very difficult. And so my hope is to raise funds so that I can travel there and help empower the women and raise funds for projects that we can do for the women.
Right. Well, Diane, I love what you're doing. It's empowering to everybody that can hear this message. Coming from a professional background and crunching numbers to, traveling and raising money and being part of a nonprofit organization that reaches out to really help so many people is inspiring in itself. So I just want to thank you so much for being on the show today, sharing your story with us. And I wish you the best. I'm sure that you're going to continue to make progress, there and help to bring things to the people that are there, and especially the women, like you said, that would not have that opportunity if it wasn't for you and your team.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on. I love talking about South Sudan, so I love that you gave me the opportunity to do that.
Oh, well, we're blessed that you were willing to come on and to share that story. We want to thank the audience also for tuning in to WBTVN Expert Spotlight Show, and let you know that you can go to WBTVN.tv. And if you would like to be interviewed, just fill out the form that's on there and we'll come back to you and give you a time and date to do that. So until next time, best wishes to everyone. Take care. Bye-bye now.